Okay. Yes, please. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'm Rick Harkert, one of the funeral directors here, and it's been a humble privilege for me to help Deb and her children this week in this tragic time. But on their behalf, I'd like to thank you all for being here today to celebrate and honor Bill in this service. We would ask that you would please take a moment right now to silence your cell phones in respect to our service. You may have noticed that the rooms are set up a little differently, like things aren't in straight lines and all that sort of thing. And the reason for that is Deb had shared that she and Bill appreciated the informal as compared to the formal. So that's why everything's kind of mixed up, and you're welcome to move the chairs however you would like, and we'd like to offer that to you as well, or if you would rather stand. So thank you for being here today, and we welcome those two that are watching via live stream. Later in our time today, there will be a time for you to share with all of us how Bill impacted your life. So you might want to be thinking about that. We'll bring a portable microphone around to you so that you won't have to come to the front. If you'd rather come to the front, you may. And we just want you to be comfortable. So we're going to take a few minutes right now. The family asks that you have an opportunity just to sit and visit with each other, maybe look at some photos, that sort of thing. So we'll just take a few moments to do that, and then we'll kind of regather and move along in this time of celebrating Bill's life. So feel free to visit for a few minutes, and I'll call you back together shortly. we're going to ask you to regather if you would. We'd like to take a few moments at this time. Deb and the kids brought in photos that we were able to put together in a photo collage, so you'll be able to watch it on the TV. Feel free to move around so you can see the TV best, but at this time we will share the photo tribute, show some great family photos and so forth, and we'll spend a few moments watching that. Yeah, he's supposed to have it on. It's always great to see the background of someone and to see what is very important in their life, and obviously family, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, was important to Bill. I'd like to share a poem with you that I shared with Deb and Billy and Elena. And I think it says a lot, and then I'll just make some remarks of some things that they've shared with me as we visited. And this poem, and you may have heard of it, is called The Dash. I read of a man who stood to speak at the funeral of a friend. He referred to the dates on the tombstone from the beginning to the end. He noted that first came the date of birth and spoke of the following date with tears, but he said what mattered most of all was the dash between the years. For that dash represents all the time they spent alive on earth, and now only those who loved them know what that little line is worth. For it matters not how much we own, the cars, the house, the cash. What matters is how we live and love and how we spend our dash. So think about this long and hard. Are there things you'd like to change? For you never know how much time is left that still can be rearranged. To be less quick to anger and show appreciation more, and love the people in our lives like we've never loved them before. If we treat each other with respect and more often wear a smile, remembering that this special dash might only last a little while. So when the day comes and your eulogy is read, with your life's actions to rehash, would you be proud of the things they say about how you lived your dash? And I think it can be said of Bill, from what the family has shared with me, that he lived his dash very, very, very well. And what can we say about that dash? Did you know that Bill was an avid reader? He especially enjoyed reading about big thinkers, such as Steve Jobs, Einstein, and Elon Musk. And just as much as he enjoyed reading about great men, he has equally enjoyed sharing quotes from those big thinkers that would encourage others. I'm certain that many of you have been a part of Bill's quote sharing. From what the family told me, he was always quoting. And another area of his dash was his quest to gather as much information from articles, books, other venues, and newscasts. When I asked them if there was a special song that Bill really liked that we could share today, they said no, he just liked to watch the news. And so he gathered that information. Billy remembered how his dad's love of history was important to him and how they would watch Men Who Made America on the History Channel. Bill took this information and shared it with many because he loved to use this as a teaching tool to share knowledge with everyone he came in contact with. Part of his dash also includes his gift of encouraging others. He saw the potential in people, sometimes more than they saw themselves. And in this way, Bill exuded confidence and built the person up with whom he was sharing with. Bill was quiet and sometimes shy, and even though he said few words, the words he did speak made an impact with everyone who heard him. He was stoic. He would always entertain every single option so that you could work through to find the solution. One of his greatest attributes that the family shared with me was he never gave up. If he started something, he made sure it was finished. Elena shared how she and her dad put together a shed this past July. It took much longer than they thought, and there were pieces all over the driveway. It was approaching 10 o'clock, and the sun was beginning to set and getting dark. Bill pulls out his cell phone and turns the flashlight on and keeps working on the project till it was completed. He thoroughly enjoyed working on his projects at home, and he especially liked visiting the homes of his children to help them with projects. I think it goes unsaid that part of his dash was his hard work to form his companies. But more so was his wish to impact the lives of his employees and to see their potential blossom and come to life. By far, the greatest part of his dash was his undivided love for his family. He loved his wife and children and was a constant encouragement to them in pursuing their dreams and to see that those dreams came to fruition. His greatest joy was doing anything he could to make them happy. Many family trips, many times on the lake, many times going to a restaurant, or just being together to share that family time. We have to come to the conclusion, too, that every one of you have been a part of Bill's Dash. And we're going to take a few moments to have you share how Bill impacted your life and how his Dash has made a difference in your life and careers. We know there's going to be tears, but we also would like to hear some fun stories too and some laughter. And I'm sure Bill would appreciate that. As I mentioned earlier, you do not need to come to the front. I have a microphone here. I can bring it to you. And if you would just raise your hand, I will bring it to you, and you can share part of this story as well. Who might be first?
Hello, my name's Andy Bump. Growing up in London Terrace, me and Billy Korreck were best friends. First off, I just want to say I'm so sorry, Elena, Deb, Bill. I don't know what you guys are going, or I don't know how to feel or what to say for what you guys are going through right now. And me and my mom and my dad, we're just so sorry for everything going on, and my brother Gary. Growing up, Bill Korreck Sr., he was like a second dad to me. I've seen some other people in the neighborhood here, and I think they can all agree, me and Billy, we wreaked havoc on that neighborhood. Mr. Korreck had all the four-wheelers, all the toys. We spent every day down at the beach on the jet skis, swimming, just having the time of our life, and Mr. Korreck was a big part of that. Again, I'm so sorry for everything you guys are going through, but just think back on the memories we had.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Others who might like to share.
Well, look, I've only known Bill for a short period. I've been in town here recently. But I came from a place where you don't know who your neighbors are. But that's okay. But Bob, Bill, he was a client. That was my job. And it was okay because he's easy to tell. But then I talked to him, and he is he really is. And so for me, I go down my boat, down on the boat, go south looking, of course, I mentioned next year for your money and all that. You know what? He's a great guy. And those kids, you kids are fantastic, okay? And it's real tough for you, young lady, that I feel it. Billy, you gotta go on, but you're all there. And Barbara, I'm so sorry.
Thank you.
But that's all I know. That's short news, but Bill was a good job.
Thank you. Rick, is the microphone working properly?
Anybody else?
I don't think the mic's working.
I'm going to go check that in a minute.
Oh.
I'm going to go to the other room and see if anybody over there wants to work. And if you wish to share, you can step up.
I think people feel they can talk with a mask.
You can take it off.
You know that? Only world of different.
We can't hear it.
It's Alex Nancy.
Yeah, we can't hear it.
No.
I'll project. My name's Alex Fancy. I started working for Bill in 2013. We started out on large-scale environmental remediation projects, working 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. You get to know somebody pretty well when you're. To me, Bill was my boss, my mentor, a jackass, but in a good way. Confidant, and correct. He had this habit of coming into my office at 4:55 p.m., usually on Friday. He would sit down in the chair next to my desk and Testing. Beautiful. He would sit in the chair next to my desk, and what would start out as a 2-minute conversation about scheduling, current projects, normal work stuff, would quickly turn to completely unrelated stuff, which included but is not limited to aliens, bear with me, NASA and the Apollo moon landings, and really anything space related. He was a huge space nerd. Personal things going on in our lives, and as mentioned previously, any non-work related projects we were working on. Those of you that know Bill know he was always working on something, and we bonded over that. If he were here right now, I would say thank you for being a great boss, a great mentor, a great jackass, a great confidant, and a great friend. And thank you for everything you've done for me, both personally and professionally. I wouldn't be the person I am today if it weren't for you. Thank you.
Would anyone else like to share? Okay, great, thank you.
My name's Brittany Knudsen, for those of you that don't know me. Elena came into my life in high school, and I was going through a tough time. And, the Korreck family really just took me in, and we're full of mischief, full of trouble, but Papa K always monitored it. Got us out of trouble when we needed to. But he's always been a really good father figure for anyone that came under his roof. And he just always made sure that we had fun. We would always be on the lake or stealing one of his cars or doing whatever we could, but he always made sure that we were having fun doing it. And, I always would think every Christmas they would always plan a trip to go somewhere warm and have a feast. And I always envied Bill that he loved to support his family and bring them all along. And that was just his little family getaway. And he always included those who needed to be there. And I just love that home, and I love this family. And you guys are amazing. And I'm so sorry that this happened, but he is still here. Maybe not with us, but he's still here, and he's watching you, and he's still supporting you and cheering you on. So just keep doing what you're doing, and I love you guys.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to share?
Wow. It's really hard to think about what you could possibly say about our dad, because he was, while quiet, omnipresent. He was always there. He always knew what to say, and I'm comforted by a lot of what people have shared today and will continue to share, and how much his encouragement shaped the way that people live their lives, because that reigns so true for me. My dad and I were very close, and I value that time so, so much. And in pulling together these photos that we have today, one of the things that I came across is that my dad, you all knew him in different capacities, but he was very sentimental. And he saved almost every card that my brother and I have ever given him for birthdays and Father's Day and Christmas and whatever. And I didn't know what I could say today that would be enough, but I actually found a card that I gave him for his birthday, and it says everything that I could possibly want to say about who my dad was to me, and I think who he was to a lot of people. And it says, because her father listened to her, she knew that she had something to say. Because he believed in her, she believed in herself. And because he said that she could do anything, she did. And I hope that the encouragement that my dad provided, not only to me, but to others in his life, is part of his legacy forever. Thank you all for being here.
As Elena shared just now, her dad was always an encouragement to her and to Billy and to Deb as well. But I understand he also would encourage each one of you to see you better yourself, as Elena said, to take on new challenges and to think out of the box. And from what they shared with me, not only did he believe in his family, he believed in every one of you as well. That is the legacy that you can take from Bill today. And I would think that he would want you to use that as you mentor and encourage others that cross your paths as well. So at this time, you found on your chair a little card that says, "This is what I remember best about." And we're going to play some music and have some quiet time here. And we'd like you to take a moment and write down on that card for the family to keep something that impacted you the most about Bill Korreck. So we'll take a few moments to do that. thank you for taking time to write on the card. When you are dismissed this afternoon, my associate Kathy is at the door to collect the cards as well as the ink pens. Also, you found on your seat a map to the family home, and you'll hear about that in just a moment. As we close our service today, Billy's going to come and speak on behalf of the family.
Does this one work?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the other one. Thank you all for coming. I know my father would have appreciated all the little stories that everyone has to share about him tremendously. For those of you that don't know, we've decided to cremate our father in memory that he always enjoyed the earth. His company was named Global Environmental Engineering. He always tried to better water quality, anything that Dad wanted to do, so we felt the best thing to do would be to have a tree out of him symbolically. So we've all decided to have a piece of him buried at our family home, and I think that's the best thing that we decided. We'd like to make you all aware of that, with how much Dad impacted and wanted to affect the quality of the ground. We wanted for him to forever be with a living species forever. I've got a quote and or a poem that Rick actually had passed to me, and I think it shows him and portrays him perfectly. It's called The Afterglow. This is about my father. I'd like the memory of me to be a happy one. I'd like to leave an afterglow of smiles when life is done. I'd like to leave an echo whispering softly down the ways of happy times, laughing times, and bright sunny days. I'd like the tears of those who grieve to dry before the sun, of happy memories that I leave when life is done. My father did everything for me. He's done everything for my family. I'm so proud that I am the only son, and now I can take care of my mother, daughter after him, my mother, and my sister after him. I will never let him down. And I know he's all individually affected each one of your lives. Dad would be so happy if you would never forget the memories of him and what he did. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Billy. We've celebrated a life that was well lived. Thank you for being here to be part of that. On your chair is a map. The family has asked you all to come back to the house and share more memories together. There'll be the photographs, the video, and all that sort of thing, but they really would like you all to come out to the house and spend some time with them and to share more about Bill. I would just ask that you continue to keep them in your thoughts, keep in touch with them. The journey they've begun is a hard one, and it's not short. So continue to be a support to them as you have been in the last couple days and especially today. Thank you, everyone, for being here. You can be dismissed.